Hey, JC Miller, CrossedBlessedOutdoors. Welcome. We're going to be doing a leather knife sheath for a customer. It's going to be on the MoraKniv MG. I don't know if you can see that. They requested a kind of an old school basic knife sheath. They come with the plastic one right now, which you can do. You can do a lot with these. See a lot of guys and gals working on these and dressing them all up. Anyways, that's the MoraKniv MG, a little more of a heavy duty version. These are good little knives. They're budget minded. Anybody can want to buy one, throw it in their pack, and you'll have a good knife. You got to be careful where you're out in the part of the country. They rust kind of easy, so you want to keep them oiled up, especially if you're going to store them away. I always coat my knives with a little bit of oil before I put them in, but they're good knives. These MGs, you can pick them up for about $18. Companions you can pick up for $8, $9. Everybody asks me what type of knife to get. Go get one of these first. It's great. If you use and abuse, and you can sharpen them really easy. But anyways, back to the knife sheath. We're gonna do one. It's probably gonna be a long video. I don't edit really. I just like to show everybody what's going on. So sometimes you might get lengthy. I won't feel bad if you fast forward through. But you're gonna see maybe some mistakes, maybe some steps that I miss explaining. Sometimes I don't explain myself. But anyways, hope you enjoy. Okay, here we are on the bench. Like I said, we're just going to do a basic Mora. It's a it's a heavy duty MG. Hopefully you can see that. Anyways, I got a customer who just wants a real basic sheath. Nothing fancy. No frills, bells, whistles, anything like that. So what we did is we're going to cut out little pattern, as you can see here, with the belt loop. It's going to be right-handed. Again, this is nothing fancy. I think what I may do is I may put some tooling along here just to give it a little bit of character. You know, they didn't ask for it, but we'll add it on there. I don't send out too many plain projects, but anyways, basic little knife sheath. Like I said, nothing fancy. Let's get going on it. So when you're cutting out your leather, you want to maximize your leather as much as you can, because leather is expensive, and I think it's only going to go up in price due to the issues we have going on. But you want to maximize it, so I'm going to lay that out right about there. Get ourselves our ruler, cut ourselves a piece off. You tell I need a bigger bench, okay? Which I am working on a exclusive leather bench here in the shop, but that's a couple weeks away. We're going to have to make do with what we have. Take our little cutting leather for as long as I have. I still get concerned it's go off, and so just take your time. You can't rush leather. You've heard it from a lot of people. I watch BA on Step 1 Survival, and you know, people. He's had quite a few videos that talk about the price of leather projects and stuff like that. Just so you know, when we build a project, we don't actually recoup all of our time or our money. Just FYI, we don't do it for that. We do it to try to cover materials and make a few extra bucks to buy some more materials, and we do it because we love it, and it's a passion, and enjoy building things for other people. So keep that in mind. Anyways, let's get this pattern on here. Some people don't mind imperfections in leather. Some people do mind it. This customer here wants something unique, so I think some of the markings that you have on leather make it unique. Plus, they'll go away when it's down. So, anyways, I'm gonna trace this out. I'm gonna take you through the whole thing. If you ever want some detailed instructions, you could DM me on Instagram at CrossedBlessedOutdoors or on YouTube. Just send a message. I get into details. But anyways, we'll get this traced out and cut out, and we'll be right back. Alright, we're all cut out now. One thing I normally do, and this is just personal preference, is I usually case my leather before I start working on it, especially when I start getting into 10-11 ounce. Anytime I'm tooling or anything like that, I always case my leather, and that's a little bit of a process to get it wet, to let it dry, and I use I dip into a little pan, and then I lay between newspaper and let the moisture just gradually come back out and get it right to a point where it's workable. But then obviously you only have a certain time frame to get that done. But anyways, we are going to case this, so and that'll happen over the next handful of time. So you're not going to see a segment of this getting cased, just because I rather work on it when it's a little more pliable. It's pretty stiff, and I don't want it to I don't want to be any harder than it has to, especially since I'm going to be hand stitching this. But anyways, we're all cut out there, and we'll head to the next step. Alright, so we got it all cleaned up. Hopefully you can see that. Doing alright. I like this look. Every leather craftsman has their own unique touch to it, but I do like that. We're gonna start the second scribe in. We're gonna give it a double scribe here. So I've taken I have two of them. This one's really old, so you have to adjust it. You kind of see there. Hopefully, you have to adjust right there. This one's easy because you just adjust it. A little pressure, very easy. This is a newer one. Most of my leather tools are kind of old, but we're gonna come here, same thing. You're just gonna nice and easy. I'm gonna do an inner line. You get to the curve, just nice and easy. Make sure you keep the same distance. Anyways, I'm gonna go through this and do this, and we'll be right back. Alright, let's do the belt loop here. This is not as wet as I'd like it, but it's moist. that's why it's if you could hear it, it's cutting dry, but that's okay. I didn't get it as moist as I did the other ones. We'll come back and fine tune that. Make sure you hold the leather down. You don't want it to bend, because if the leather flexes or anything, then the line's going to move, and sometimes I lose track of that. Make sure you clean out your groove, because you want a nice clean groove all the time. There. Probably went a little too far on that, but it's okay. We're going to clean this one out on this side. We did it, but we're going to clean it out real quick here. Just real lightly. Okay? I want to try to have a even. Let's finish that. Let's see how that turned out. Hopefully the shadows aren't too bad here. Okay. Okay, so we've undone the clips. I've got a few markings which I will work out. You can see that I did not use good enough pads, okay, from the clips. You got to be real careful. These are for heavier duty leather. I need to get some lighter clips. Staff Sergeant BA over at Step 1 Survival, he's got some inexpensive clips that don't have as much pressure. I use this for really heavy duty leather stuff and it works good, but it was too much pressure, so I left a few marks. If you can see that, sorry. Anyways, we'll be able to get those out. What we're going to do is we're going to take the stitching wheel now. Put our stitching wheel away. And we're going to run the stitching wheel. You guys can see that. We're going to run that right in this first groove here. This second groove is going to be a guide for our stamping. I haven't figured out what we're going to do yet, but we'll figure that here shortly. So anyways, you just want to put the start of the first stitch right down in the corner. You want to keep this 90 degrees, okay? And you just want to roll. Be real careful not to get out of the gouge that you created. We're just going to go over it really carefully. This first pass. Come to a little curve here, so kind of lighten up a little bit so you don't go wheel across your leather. Like I said, mark it all up. We're only going to stitch right to the top, okay? And you can see what the first pass looks like. If you could see that. All right, so we're gonna go over it again, just get it a little bit deeper in. All right, and then we're gonna roll back and forth a little bit. Really get the impression in on that. So, one, I know where to put the awl at when we put the awl through. And two, it'll just provide that stitching to go down in there pretty deep. And that comes out pretty nice. I like the look of it. It's kind of something, like I said, I was taught a long time ago. So I do like the look. And I have different wheels that are spaced differently, okay, as far as the stitching wheel. So I think I got a few of them. But let's do this other side here. And we'll come back to you. I think one tool we're going to try and use, I haven't used it in a while, is this wheel stamp. We're going to get pressed for time, and I haven't used it in a while, and some tooling takes a while, so I've done one side. If you could see that, you've got to really put some weight into it so it gets impressed. And this goes back to the dampness of the leather and how it stamps when you tool it in. So right now we're just damp. We're not as wet as we probably should be. But let me just show you. You're gonna let's try to match the pattern up to the same as the other side. It's right about there. Like I say, you want to press pretty hard. We're gonna stay right on that line. Lots of pressure. We'll just go around this curve here. And if you lift, gotta kind of figure where this thing goes back down at, which is the tough part. So I try not to lift. Looks like we were right. So we were right there. Okay, sorry about that pause. Had a problem with the camera. It overheated and had to cool down, but I went and got started on laying out the buckle holder. You could do sheaths in different ways. You could make this all one piece. Okay. You can make it two pieces. Depends on your preference. They're done all different ways. No right or wrong. This is another point of attachment. So when we do stitch it in, we're going to stitch it in pretty well. But again, also too, if you do it in one piece, you are using more leather. So you may have some scrap pieces that don't allow that. So you want to go to two pieces. I do it both ways, but we're just doing it this way right now. So we're going to keep stitching on it, and we'll check back in. Okay, we got that first part done there. Now we're going to do the belt loop to the sheath. We get it laid out. I'm going to put it on my hip and just kind of check it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to punch the holes through into the sheath. This is the reason why we have not sewn the sheath together, because we need to get to this other side. But we're going to do that next and get that point of attachment there, make it look nice, and then we're going to get onto the sheath. All right, stand by. Okay, so we dampen our sheath before we sew our buckle or our belt loop on there. We're going to go through and run this all and get our stitching holes in there. There are many different ways to do this. The best way is buy yourself about a $2,000 sewing machine, which I know all of us dream of. So we're going to go, you could drill these, you could punch them. You'll see me use punches. I will do them by hand this way because I want the lacing to be tight in there. And it depends on the look you're going through. No right or wrong. When you do start making a lot of sheaths and stuff, it is time consuming. So you may want to consider punching or just using a drill press or something like that. If anybody watches Step 1 Survival, he uses a drill press a lot, gets a lot done quickly, which is good. So again, it's all in preference, time. I have a little bit of time. I don't have a ton of sheaths backed up, and the other leather projects I have are pretty easy to get through. We will be stitching this by hand. All of our work is stitched by hand. Over the years, my hands have gotten weaker, so it's hard to stitch. I'm going to build a stitching pony one of these times, which will really help out. They make bench mount stitching ponies. They're not very good, but anyways, we'll keep on doing this and we'll come back. Okay, we're to the main holster. We got that part stitched on there. We're kind of pressed for time, so we're moving through it pretty quick. Just use some glue or something. You could use some leather glue, but the glues have come so far in so many years. Gorilla Glue is really good and something that you have laying around. Just want to put a little bead right in there. If you can see that. You won't get too much so it doesn't come out the sides. Hopefully it doesn't, because we're going to do the edges on it. But we just want to get it together. We're going to start from the back. Okay. Let's get our first stitch in there just to hold it, to get it started. All right, and then we could work the rest. So when the leather is damp and you punch the holes in, this is what happens when you're stitching. They will close back up, okay? And that's what you have to kind of be careful of, is that they will close back up on you. So sometimes you have to just take your awl and run it back through there. We're gonna leave this a little long because we're gonna tie that in with the other stitches, with the other stitching. Okay. Get back. Wish one of these days, years, or whatever, we're gonna have a sewing machine. Not anytime soon. One thing about sewing machines, you don't want to buy a cheap one. It'll just be it'll be a complete waste of money. So you definitely don't want to do that. Anyways, we're gonna get stitching on this thing, and we will be back. Okay, we just cut the thread off here. You see how that came out? Let me try to turn this a little bit. There we go. Oh, that's too much. There we go, it's a little bit better. Anyways, finish the stitching. Kind of tough. We're gonna be cleaning some stuff up, cutting some of these off here. Use a head knife there. And then what we'll do is just take a lighter, something just like that. Take this one down here. That way they don't back out or anything like that. Kind of helps lock them into place. Okay. So what we're going to do next, hope you can see that. What we're going to do next is we're going to sand the edges. You can see how they kind of got uneven right there. We're going to sand these edges here. Okay, get this cleaned up. But for tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the knife up, and I'll show that to you. We're going to wrap the knife up, and we're going to put it in here and let this leather case and stuff like that, let all the edges dry, and then we're going to work on the edges. All right. There you go. Alright, we're going to, since the sheath is wet, we're going to coat this with some oil, or just some WD-40 I should say, and protect the blade, okay, because we definitely don't want that to we do not want it to corrode or anything. We can use different stuff. This is not going to be in there that long, so it won't bleed. It won't bleed through. Put that in there. And again, we're trying to case this, so we want it to take its shape. Okay, and let's put a clip right here. I just want this to pinch down a little bit so it takes a little bit better shape right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And that should be okay. Maybe we'll put one more there. One more right there. Alright? Alright, we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Okay. It's tomorrow from yesterday. So let's take these clamps off. Alright. Where we took the knife out. But if you see, this is what we ended up with. Now we're not done yet. I think I mentioned we're going to do the edges. We're still going to coat this. I haven't figured out what color I want to go with, but we're going to coat this. But we're still going to do the edges. I probably should have done them before I sewed it together, but I'm going to show you another way of doing it. You could do it either way, but I should have done the belt loop, but that was my fault. I was been pressed for time and still am. We might not finish this before we leave, but that's okay. So here's our MoraKniv. See, I forgot to take the paper out. And it goes. And we're looking for that snug fit. It's probably a little snugger than I want. So what we're going to do is I'm going to coat this again with some conditioner and dampen it, and it should loosen up with the knife. But it came out pretty good. A little bit different stitching style. Nothing special, just different. That's the result you get on back. So just a basic sheath, nothing fancy, but we'll go and start working on the edges. I think I may coat this in brown. I think we'll see as I move along. Sometimes I change my mind, but stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to take some saddle soap here. We're just going to spray it on this little towel. What I want to do is I want to get the edge of this leather coated here. A little moisture in there. You don't need much. Okay. I would normally use a sponge. I'll admit I can't find my sponges right now. All the sponges I have are dirty. Anyways, I'm gonna get this on there like that. We're gonna heat this up a little bit more, so I'm just going over the heater and heating it up. Put that there. Hopefully we get it a bit soft enough. We're going to start rubbing in. Let's see. Yeah, let's get a little bit softer. Just a little bit more. You don't want it too wet. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Alright. Let's just kind of lightly put it in there. We're gonna back over and we're gonna heat this up. I will say that is the only bad thing about working in a cold shop. So I think next time what we'll do is we'll run the heater a little bit more before we get involved. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this sheath, I'm gonna put it over the heater, okay, and get this melted in. So just give me a second. It's good. I gotta get my hands warm, which is nice. See how that's softened up. Get that in there. See how that's softened up. Just enough. You don't want a ton. Let's do it one more time. You see how it's working itself into the groove? See that? Let's take some of this here. We'll put this right here. This is all going to get sealed in once we edge coat it. So keep that in mind. I know some people are going, it's a little sloppy, but it will melt in there. Watch. Just a little heat on there. Don't want too much. See how that's soft? Or rub it right in there. Okay. So let's get our wax warmed up a little bit more. We're going to do the lower part of the sheath. Boy, during the summertime here, we don't have any issues working on leather at all. Okay, can everybody see that okay? Not the best camera person. Alright, so let's get that back on the heat a little bit more. And we should be able to blend that in. It's working good. Alright, so let me work on this and I'll get right back to you. Okay, I think that's pretty well sealed. You kind of see what I've done there. And a lot of this comes from because the glue I should have taken inside, it got cold, it separated a tiny bit. It still held through the glue, and obviously the glue helps the stitching and everything like that, but it's had a little bit of gap, and that's going to bug me, and that's going to get sealed up through polishing this up, through the edge coat and everything like that. I'll show you as we go, but that's kind of what it ends up looking like once you use the beeswax and paraffin. Okay? We are going to go with a mean coil. We're going to go with a natural look. That's I'm not going to dye it. I think I'm going to go with a natural look and see how much we could darken this thing up. I really like this stuff. It works real good. It's pretty liquid format, so you just want to put it onto a towel here. Okay, and get this out of the way. Sorry about that. And we're just going to smooth it on there. We're going to show you what the other side looks like. You're going to try to get it on there as evenly as possible. Alright. That way you're going to get the same color consistency. Just want to rub it in really good. And we're going to do a couple coats. This isn't going to be the only coat we're going to do. I've already done the back here a little bit. We're going to go over that again, but let's just try to get a first coat on there. Okay. Pour a little bit more on there. Let's get on the edge here. And we're going to do a couple little tricks later to kind of enhance this. I'll show it to you. We'll do that later on in the process. But let me do this and I'll get right back to you. Okay, we can see how this is taking shape. Looking pretty good. This is probably 2 coats. Alright. It's going to lighten up a tiny bit. So we're going to let it dry and see what it looks like. But you just want to keep on rubbing it in. And again, I'm just going for a natural look. Anytime you use any type of oil or anything like that on leather, it's going to change colors. So keep that in mind. And if you can see what that's looking like, and this is not polished yet. The edges are not done yet. We still need to do the edges. But we're just trying to get a base in there. And like I said, this is the mean coil liquid. I like a lot of natural look. I have done some dyeing. I like antique brown. I like browns. But I just felt like going with this. It's kind of funny, unless you have a specific request from a client, you kind of go with how you're feeling and what you're picturing in your head. And I think all leather work comes out beautiful, so I don't think you could go wrong. Some people do get picky. I love Latigo burgundy color. I've got a couple projects I'll show you at another time that I really like that. It's an expensive leather, but it's absolutely beautiful, especially once you get it complete stitched and then sealed and polished up. It's a beautiful color. The burgundy is, but their hides are pretty expensive, and anyways, this is coming out really nice. I like how it looks. So let's just take a look at that. So we're going to do probably another coat on it. We're just going to see how this turns out. We're going to have to let it dry. I'm not going to be able to pick this back up for another couple days. We've got to head out, and but I'll try to do one more coat tomorrow before we leave, and then we'll come back and we'll finish it up. Okay, we're a couple days later on the knife sheath. I was out of town, but we put a second coat of mink oil on here, so it darkened up a little bit more. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on the edges. I worked on them a tiny bit just so I could dial in the machine where I wanted it. But what we want to do is we want to take you can take water. I use saddle soap. You just want to go run on a little rag here. We're going to moisten these edges up, because what we don't want to do is burn them too much. We're still going to edge coat them brown. That's kind of the mood I'm in, is we're going to do them brown. So let's just moisten this up. Hopefully you could see it. We're going to get the belt strap. Now what I should have done on the belt strap is I should have did it before I stitched it. That was my fault. It would have been a lot easier and would have come out better. You'll see why. But it'll be okay. There's a whole process in doing edging. We're just kind of hitting it. I could go more in detail another time, but let's get these moistened. Once you get them moistened, they should be okay. You can see it's darkened up a little bit. All right. And what's going to happen is they will turn a darker color after we use this burnishing tool on them. They will, which is what I want. But like I said, we will edge coat them. So we'll do this for a few seconds, and then I'll turn you off, and we'll come back to it. So hopefully you can see that detail. It's smoothed out quite a bit. I'm going to keep on working on it because I'm really going to get rid of that seam there. So I'm going to keep on working on it here. But that's kind of the idea of it. You can do this by hand. I usually find antique store old knobs. You can see this one works real good. You could kind of get there and mold it. But usually what I do is, especially if it's a smaller piece and I can't put it on the burnishers, I'll take this and you just rub it, okay? And same way up here, you just keep on rubbing it. Anything you can find that's round or maybe it's got a little bit of groove like that, it will work. I also have a larger one for some of my larger work, and you just take that and keep on working. So you don't necessarily need a machine. It's taken me quite a while to get one. So anyways, I hope this helps, and we'll be back. Alright, you can see how that smoothed out. I mean, it's really smooth. I could probably do some more work on it, but it's pretty smooth. We're not done with it yet. We're going to coat it, and then we're going to then we're going to polish that up. Okay? That's what it looks like after we burnish it. We got a ways to go. Okay, edge coating. I've always struggled at this process just because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist and sometimes get a little overzealous, but you just want to take a small dauber like this. Pick these up at Tandy's. Just want to dip it in just a tiny bit and just real lightly glide over top of it. Everybody has a little bit different process. I've seen some really good processes out there that I'm going to try for some other people on YouTube. But hopefully you could see this. I always say that, I know that. We're going to go over this a few times, but I go over them pretty lightly because I'm scared to get the stitching. And again, I hope you can see this, but I'm going with a brown edge coat. Let's get the tip there because we have a stitching right there that I threw in just for a little reinforcement and for looks. Can you see this? And we're gonna smooth this out. This is not finished. We're gonna smooth this out. So another process. We use a GoPro 5 to do our filming, and then I use my phone to check the to see what it looks like, so I know what you guys and gals are looking at. Just so I hopefully it's filming okay. Anyways, this is this process here. So I'm gonna keep on doing it, and I think I'm gonna leave the belt loop alone, but I'm gonna do the top part of the sheath. So we'll be right back. Okay. So you can see it's still shining because it's wet. All right. Did the top part. Sorry about that. And this is the problem. I get a little overzealous. Can you see that? Gets a little out of whack. That's why you gotta go really lightly. Everybody has a different way to edge coat. You'll get some guys out there that they'll talk about things and that's wrong, and you want to know what? Everybody's got to learn and start somewhere, and everybody's got a different process. And right, wrong, or indifferent, you got to start somewhere. And I'm by no means expert leather crafter. I'm by no means medium level. I just love to do this, and anyways, you got to do it to learn. So take your time, enjoy it. That's the most important thing. And I know if you go to Westwind Survival, you watch him. He's really good at teaching the steps. I'm probably not as good, but he's really good, and he does really good leather craft. Go to CBA over at Step 1 Survival. He has his own unique style, and I really admire it. He does a lot of leather crafting, so he has it down to a science. There's no way I could pump out as much stuff as he does, and he does real nice quality work, and I like his style. But we all have our own style, right? Anyways, we're going to polish this up, but we're going to let it dry, so we'll be back. Alright, we got the edge coating dry, so we're going to moisten it again with some saddle soap. Okay, and just take it on there and get it moist because we're going to run it on the burnisher again. We're going to just run it kind of lightly on there. And we'll get some paraffin and beeswax. Just rub it on there here. Get a little coat on there. Just kind of moisten it back up with the saddle soap. Let's just kind of rub that in, get it smoothed out. Use a piece of canvas also. That works really good. Anyways, that's kind of what it looks like, nice and smooth. Hopefully you could see that okay. Alright, we're going to get next process. We're gonna polish this up. Okay, let's get this thing polished up now. I like a lot of the work I do. I like to put what they call a super sheet on. It's from Tandy Leather. Leather finish 22002. Anyways, what we're going to do is just do an application on here, and then we're going to take a dry rag and buff it. We may do this a few times. Just to get a nice coat on there and get a nice sheen out of it. So let me get this done, and then we'll go to the polishing stage, and this thing will be ready. Okay, so it's dried up, so we're just going to take a new cotton cloth here and go over it and get the excess off. Make sure the rags you're using is clean, no dirt or anything. Just like polishing a boot up or something. Just, whoa, excuse me. See what happens when you get too overzealous there. Sorry about that. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to leave it in there. If you guys and gals have noticed, I don't edit that much. Just rather you see everything. To me, it's better. There's some guys who do a fantastic job at editing, and I admire that, but I don't. I'd rather you just see everything going on, and sometimes the videos get a little lengthy, and I apologize for that, but I'll see all the bloopers and everything. Alright, so keep on doing this and be back. Alright, here it is. We are done with the MoraKniv MG leather sheath. Came out okay. I'm usually pretty critical of my work, so came out okay. Hope the customer likes it. But it fits this Mora MG here. There's all different styles you could do here. I think next one we'll do a block one. Do a ferro rod on it. They wanted something a little slim, a little old school. I consider this old school. But it's nice. This is the MoraKniv Heavy Duty. Hope you can see that. Anyways, I appreciate you going along with me. I know the video was a little long, but appreciate it. Hopefully, I was able to share. Again, this is my style on how we do things, and I'm always learning every day. I'm always watching other people. Again, you go to West Wind Survivor, or go to Step 1 Survival. They do awesome other work, and they teach really well. Anyways, enjoy your next outdoor adventure and stay prepared.